What is up, everybody? It's Copes here, and today I am back with a Fortnite video. In today's video, I am going over every single Season 6 skin, and I will be ranking them from worst to best. I am not including the Battle Pass skins just because I've already talked about those. If you guys want to leave a comment, if I missed any skins this season, please do it, because I feel like I could have missed maybe one or two, but there are 40 different skins on this list, and the NFL skins, I only counted them as one, so technically there's 47 different skins, not including the Battle Pass skins that came out this season. I wonder how much money that is from just these skins alone. That's absolutely crazy, guys. I'm expecting Epic to probably release even more next season until they reach their cap, where they just literally cannot release anymore, but they're making absolute bank off us, guys. Just remember that. Tell me your favorite Season 6 skins in the comment section as well. Let's hop into this, guys. I'm gonna try to speed through it a little bit just because I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long. Starting out at our number 40 spot, and I really don't think I've made a list where I had to start at a number 40 spot, but the worst skin this season, in my opinion, I gave it to Dante. Dante, easily the worst skin this season. I feel like even with his cosmetic upgrade, which is cool for a skin, don't get me wrong, it still looks horrible. This guy, don't care for him. He sort of reminds me of the wrestling skins, and I said the girl version of that was the worst skin last season. This one, easily the worst skin this season. Moving on to my number 39 spot, I'm sorry to do it to you, it's very recently came out, the Riot. I feel like the Riot, I mean, it's a meme skin, it's the power cord male version. I don't care what it is, it still isn't appealing to me. I don't like the design, it's one of the worst to come out this season. Moving on to my number 38 spot, I gave it to the Spooky Team Leader. Easily a skin I do not use, even Dante I used for a couple games. I think maybe the Spooky Team Leader I used once and never used again. Honestly, this is kind of based on how often I use these skins, and there are 40 different skins, so I can't use them all very often, but Spooky Team Leader is a skin I'll never go back to. She's easily the worst team leader. Her color scheme is just not appealing to me, guys. I don't think that green color looks good with her, and I know I'm gonna put a picture of each of these skins on the screen, so I hope that doesn't get too annoying because I am trying to speed through these a little bit. Moving on to my number 37 spot, I had to give it to Yeehaw. Okay guys, giddy up, one of my least favorite skins from any battle pass to ever come out. This one, the girl version, looks a little bit better, I would say, but still one of the worst skins to come out this season. I don't like either of them. I don't like how they look in game. I barely use them, and when I do, it's just to kind of like laugh at how bad they are, I guess. Moving on to my number 36 spot, I had to give it to the Brainiac. And the Brainiac to me sort of looks like the female Gold Trooper, and no one ever brings that up. I feel like out of every skin in this game, he's the closest to what the Gold Trooper would be male, but he still doesn't look good. I don't think we need a male Gold Trooper. I don't think, you know, he would look good as a male Gold Trooper. No one would. And the Brainiac, the closest one to the male Gold Trooper, doesn't look good. He's not appealing. He is very simple, but I just don't like his design. Let's move on to my number 35 spot, the Summit Striker. For me, the Summit Striker, or any starter pack skin, is never going to be top tier. There's never going to be a starter pack skin that's like, wow, that's the best skin this season. That's top 5 this season. It's never going to be that. But Summit Striker, throughout all of the starter pack skins, is definitely not terrible. He just couldn't make it any higher up on this list. Let's move on to my number 34 spot. I had to give it to Ludwig. One thing I will say about Ludwig, I do like him for like the old man theme, I guess. He is an old man. That's the first skin we ever got where there wasn't just like a young person, a young skin. This guy was the first old man skin. I think it's funny for that reason, but still not the greatest skin. Moving on to my number 33 spot, I had to give it to Growler. This one, it's just not very appealing to me. It sort of reminds me of how Technique had the abstract male version. You know, Technique was decent, but the male version, Abstract, was horrible. I feel like Flapjacky is decent, but Growler, the male version, is just not that great. That's how I feel about it. Definitely not a terrible skin though. Moving on to my number 32 spot, I gave it to two skins that I don't really care for all that much. I gave it to Taro and Nara. If you guys don't know what they are, I'll post a picture of them. I feel like it's a good attempt by Epic Games to add something a little bit interesting, but I feel like this is Japanese themed, like it's a Japanese themed skins. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad, and I feel like these ones are more in the category of really bad. To me, they're very colorful, they have a lot going on, they're very detailed, but they still don't look good. You know, the girl version looks like a beetle, and that's not very appealing to me. The guy version, he looks a little bit less like a beetle, but still, the beetle is definitely in his genes, and I don't like it all that much. But if you guys disagree, you know, this one I felt like could be somewhat controversial. Feel free to leave a comment telling me how terrible of a choice it was. Let's move on to my number 31 spot. I gave it to Rosa. I feel like Rosa is better than Dante, but not by much. I don't know why these are so unappealing to me. In game, the cosmetic like changes you get or upgrades you get, the more colorful lights on the skin basically, I think that's cool. It's a cool idea, but it doesn't really, you know, make the skin better. If the skin's already bad, it's like a piece of trash. If the trash is bad but you use it and then it glows a little bit, it's still trash. And that's how I see both Rosa and Dante, even though Rosa is better and I do like her a little bit more. Let's move on to my number 30 spot. I had to give it to Mayhem, and I feel like Mayhem isn't as good as the guy version, but she isn't a terrible skin. I just don't think she's special enough to make it any higher up on this list. That's kind of a lot of these skins. They're decent, but they're not special enough. I don't like them enough to make it higher up on this list. Moving on to my number 29 spot, I gave it to Frostbite. And out of all of the different Raptor reskins, we have the Raptor, the Havoc, and the Frostbite. I do like the Frostbite the most. And for the bundle you got with him, I feel like you get a decent pickaxe, a decent glider. I actually think Frostbite isn't the worst skin for one of those starter pack or like, you know, retail version exclusive skins. He's not the best by far, but for a cheaper one, I think he's pretty good. Let's move on to my number 28 spot. I had to give it to Patch Patroller. I do like Patch Patroller, do not get me wrong, but it's not a skin I'll use very often. I feel like he has too much going on with him. He is, you know, festive themed, Halloween themed skin, but I don't think he's the best uncommon skin we've gotten this season, not even close. I do like him for his very colorful and kind of wacky design, but he can't make it any higher up on this list. Moving on to my number 27 spot, I gave it to the Makey Master. This is a skin I do like and I'll use it from time to time, but I feel like she's just way too simple and kind of in a bad way to put any higher up on this list. It's not a skin I'll go back to. Let's move on to my number 26 spot. I had to give it to the Spider Knight. The Spider Knight is a great skin, but he's not better than the female version. And honestly, for these, I put the one of the either male or female versions higher up on the list, and then their male or female counterparts slid a little bit further down on this list so I could get variety at the top. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys understand why I did that. Let's move on to my number 25 spot. I had to give it to Sanctum. This is a skin I was kind of surprised with. It's one I like a little bit more than I thought I would. I mean, like a male vampire. I really wouldn't expect myself to use that, but it is definitely a good skin, and I really love Dusk. Dusk is one of my favorite Battle Pass skins, and her male counterpart definitely isn't bad with Sanctum. I think he's decent. Let's move on to my number 24 spot, and at this point, this is where the skins, in my mind, are at least a 6 out of 10 or better. So they're definitely better than average. I really do like everything above the number 24 spot, and 24 as well. Scourge, a great skin. It's something you'd kind of see in like an apocalyptic movie, trying to cover yourself up from all the radiation. That's how I see it. I really like the skin. I think it's really cool, but I do like the guy more. Let's move on to my number 23 spot for the most controversial pick, the Skull Ranger. I feel like the Skull Ranger is cool. The Skull Trooper is a little bit worse, but the Skull Ranger is still really cool. But she's nothing too special in my eyes. I think the Skull Trooper and Skull Ranger are kind of overplayed at this point, and it kind of ruins it for me. But Skull Ranger, definitely not a terrible skin. I just know so many people have her. And if so many people have a certain skin, I'm probably not going to use it, in all honesty. Let's move on to my number 22 spot. I had to give it to the Striped Soldier. I honestly love the referee skins. I love the girl a lot more than the guy, but he definitely has a great design. I think these were awesome to put into the game. Sadly, they can't add any more of these skins, and really, would we want them to? No, probably not. But you know, the male and female version are just gonna be so sweaty if they aren't already. I feel like I'm gonna see these in competitive scrim games all day long. Let's move on to my number 21 spot. I had to give it to Straw Ops, which is the female Scarecrow. And I love both of these designs. I do like the male version a little bit more. It seems like I've been saying that a lot. The male version is better, even though I just said, you know, the female referee was better, whatever. You know, Straw Ops, definitely a good choice. I don't know why the male version looks better in my eyes. I think it's his color scheme. He has a little bit of purple on him. She has mostly green on her. They're both great skins though, and I honestly probably should have put her a little bit higher up on this list, but the male version already made it so high up on this list that I didn't want to put them both really high up on this list. Let's move on to my number 20 spot. I had to give it to Flapjackie. Flapjackie was surprising. I actually really do love this skin. It's sort of just like a girl in a hoodie and some khakis, and then she has some bunny ears on her. I like it though. I think it's a pretty cool design. It's nothing too insanely special, but the simplicity really works out with this skin. I love it. Let's move on to my number 19 spot, the Elmira. Elmira, pretty good skin, I would say. Definitely top tier for this season. I love the different, what are they? Wizard skins. The Castro is a little bit better in my eyes, but Elmira, definitely a great one. Let's move on to my number 18 spot. For one, I don't see in many people's lockers. I don't see many people buying this one. The Bunny Moon. For an uncommon skin, the Bunny Moon is so cool. I love how she's sort of like the Candy Axe of skins, if that makes sense. She does have the Christmas lights on her, even though I think she came out around the Halloween time. So I don't understand how that works. She has Christmas lights on her, but she came out during Halloween. Still, great skin that I love to use. Let's move on to my number 17 spot. I had to give it to McCree or the Deadfire. This guy, compared to Rosa and Dante, he's so much better. I love his cosmetic changes in game. If you get to super late game, his cosmetic changes are amazing. I love him. I honestly love him more when he's all lit up, but just his base stage is still a pretty cool skin. Let's move on to my number 16 spot. I had to give it to the Hollowhead. Hollowhead, a great skin. There was a lot of controversy around this skin because he was basically a reskin of the Raven with the pumpkin head, and then his back bling was a reskin of the Ragnarok back bling. But I still love him. I still love his design. I love his pumpkin head and his like flaming green eyes. There's flames coming out his mouth, from his eyes, from his nose. It's so cool. I love the design, guys. I hope to see more of them. If there was a reskin of this, I wouldn't even be mad, honestly. Let's move on to my number 15 spot. I gave it to Ruckus. And I feel like Ruckus is a Mad Max themed skin. Even though I didn't really like the movie, I really like a lot of the different characters in that movie. I like the themes of the characters. I like how the characters were dressed up and how they looked. And I feel like Ruckus would have fit right in that movie. I feel like he was based on that movie. But really cool skin. I love his hair. I love his overall design. And he has a pretty cool back bling as well. Let's move on to my number 14 spot. I had to give it to the Spider Queen. That's what I'm gonna call her. I like the name more. I made it up. I feel like that's what she should be called as well. But the Spider Queen, guys, for like an all spider design, I feel like she's way better than the Spider Knight. I just like her more. I really like this design. I love her skin color. I love the all black and then the spider eyes on top of her head as well. I feel like that's so cool, guys. Let's move on to my number 13 spot. I gave it to Castor. This wizard skin, it's sort of like another old man skin. He's sort of like the Ludwig in that sense, but he definitely fits the design better for a wizard. And I feel like if you're making a wizard design, it has to be an old man with gray hair growing on him. I think that looks so cool, guys. Let's move on to my number 12 spot for a very underrated skin this season, Heidi. Heidi is so great. I love Heidi. Heidi's such a simple skin, but her color scheme works out great. She just looks good. The blonde hair looks good. The like the skirt, I don't know the skirt, her long socks, her shoes, her hat, I think it all ties in pretty well together. It's a very underrated skin in my eyes. I feel like maybe if it was an uncommon skin, it would be super popular, but it's sort of like an epic skin that should be uncommon, but for some reason it's epic. I don't really think they needed to add a back bling on her. I feel like she could have been uncommon and should be one of the most popular, but she's a little bit too expensive, so I can see why she's underrated. Let's move on to my number 11 spot. I gave it to Earhart. Earhart, the pilot skins, honestly, both of them are amazing. I love Earhart's design. I just love the pilot skins for some reason. Like, I really don't understand why. Maybe it's because I know a lot of people don't like them, and it's like, wow, I actually really like this skin. No one else likes them, no one else uses them, so screw it. I really love these skins because no one else has them. No one else is gonna use them. That's how I feel, at least. Moving on to my number 10 spot, I gave it to Plague, which is the guy version of the Scourge. I absolutely love this skin, guys. I honestly recommend you go out and use these, go out and buy these if you don't have them yet. They are both really great skins. I feel like they're the Hazard Agent and the Toxic Trooper, but upgraded to such a high level that they shouldn't even be in the same conversation. Let's move on to my number 9 spot. The Whistle Warrior, one of my favorites from this season. You definitely have to throw some respect on the Whistle Warrior. Such a simple skin, such a just great, nice skin that you have to wear. The referee skins are dope. She sort of reminds me of the Rapscallion in a way. I mean, very similar color scheme. She just has a different hat on. The lines are going in a different way on her shirt, but other than that, very similar. I like both of the designs. I love the Rapscallion, but I think I like Whistle Warrior more. Moving on to my number 8 spot, I had to give it to Shogun, which for a samurai design, so amazing. Thank you, Epic, for giving me this. I feel like he might be an upgraded version of the Musha with a little bit different color scheme. I don't know if I like Musha more or the Shogun. I think Shogun might have a better color scheme. I'm not going to say that for sure because I do love both of those skins, but for a samurai design, he's amazing. Let's move on to my number 7 spot. I had to give it to the Double Helix. The Double Helix is the Nintendo Switch exclusive skin. I don't really care if I can't get it. It's amazing, guys. I feel like if Archetype looked like the Double Helix does, he would be one of my favorite skins, especially if I could get him. But Double Helix is the Archetype reskin. He just looks so much better. And I feel like, you know, Epic Games does do that. They add in a sort of okay version, like Archetype, and then they reskin it and sell it for more money. The better version. They put on better colors just so they can sell more, which I don't blame them for doing. It's a little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, it's just a nice business move. Let's move on to my number 6 spot, the Dark Bomber. Dark Bomber, obviously one of the best skins to come out this season. Everyone was so hyped for her, and she didn't disappoint. She's a great skin. Let's move on to my number 5 spot. This is my top 5. If, you know, maybe I would switch around a few other skins. I feel like my bottom 5 and top 5 are where they would be, and I'm happy with them. My number 5 spot, Maximilian. I don't know why. I love the Maximilian. I feel like he's an upgraded version of the Aerial Assault Trooper. Great pilot skin, amazing back bling, amazing design, so simple, so clean. I love it. I absolutely do, guys. Tell me what you think about it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me in the comments. That's definitely my number 5 spot. Moving on to my number 4 spot, I had to give it to one I don't talk about much, the Heyman. I love this creepy skin design. I love the color scheme. I love that he has purple on him. If he didn't have purple, maybe he wouldn't have been as high up on this list. He'd still be in the top 10 for sure. But overall, I remember having a really fun time doing the T-pose with this skin and making a video about that you guys actually seem to enjoy. But hey man, one of my favorites from this season. Tell me what you guys think about him. At my number 3 spot though, I had to give it to the Bullseye. And this one, it's a fan favorite. I feel like everyone's gonna get her. She's gonna be the next commando. Even Tfue has her. Now that Tfue has her, everyone's gonna get her. But Bullseye, I mean, the army design with pink and then the bullseye as well, it shouldn't be in the game. It doesn't make sense, but it's so clever. You know, if you're thinking of an army design, you think of all green. But Epic's like, screw that. We'll give you an army design, a little bit of green, but we're also gonna throw in some pink. And it's so simple, but it's just so amazing, guys. I can't praise it enough, honestly. Moving on to my number 2 spot, Jack Gordon, guys. I still love Jack Gordon. When he first came out, I loved him. To this day, I love him and I still use him. He's such a simple skin design, and I know he's a reskin of the John Wick. I don't care. I love the pumpkin head he has on. I think he looks better than the hollow head. He's sort of a meme skin in my eyes. Like, he has a very funny, weird look, but I still love him so much, guys. One of my favorite skins from this season. Let's move on to my number 1 spot. Okay, you waited all this time, and if it's this, you guys are gonna be pissed, but I have to do it. They are my favorite skins, the NFL skins. Every single one of them. You know, sometimes I like using the girls, sometimes I like using the guys, but at the end of the day, the NFL skins, easily the best skins to come out. I was anticipating them. I wanted them ever since the soccer skins came out, and I feel like they're better than the soccer skins. And it's like, you get one skin, but you have 32 different options. How can you not like that? How? And for me, I am an NFL fan. I do like watching football, so you know, I can't go wrong with these skins, guys. I love them. I love the designs. Tell me in the comment section, do you agree? Honestly, like, skins I'll use all the time. Jack Gordon, Bullseye. I'll use Maximilian, Dark Bomber. I'll use Whistle Warrior, Plague. I'll use Earhart. Hide I'll use. You know, those are skins I'll use all the time. In my top 10, skins I'll use all the time. Leave a comment telling me if you disagreed, because I know you guys will. Bye bye, guys.